That's it. Football season is done. We're back into cricket season. So we'll discuss all of that on episode 28 of the Kingsgrove Sports Centre Podcast.
That was worth the wait.
Well done. Well done.
Beautiful.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of the podcast with these three losers.
It's a bit harsh bringing Nick in it. Got that.
Yes, my name is Stuart. Sitting next to me is Stephen Green, and sitting next to him is Hamish Solomons. And in the corner, even though you can't see him today, is the man that puts this thing together, even though he may not put this one out. Nick, how you going?
Hey, I'm all right, guys.
Oh, boy.
The voice in your ear.
All right.
Did you record that pre-show banter?
There's a little pre-show banter. I don't know how much of it'll make air.
I don't think it can.
Probably none of it.
go out.
Probably none of it can come out.
That's for the late shift.
Yeah, that's for the late night podcast. All right. So as I said, it is football season is done and dusted. We're into cricket season. So we'll get to cricket soon, but we should talk a little bit of rugby league with the man next to me, Stephen Green. Your Sydney Roosters have gone back to back. When did your party finish?
Was it supposed to finish?
No.
Yeah, probably early Monday morning. Because I had to come back to work Tuesday. So
Did you go to the Leagues Club?
back to the Lees Club out the front. Thousands of raging Roosters just going mental.
That's all their fan base.
Yeah, apparently.
Every single one turned up.
Yeah.
It was just, you got to look at the disappointments, and just seeing so many unhappy people at one ground at one time was just, it was really heartbreaking.
That made you happy.
Just, call me strange, but that was just great to see.
Now, I'm not going to be a detractor here. I'm going to try not to be.
But
Okay. For you, there's obviously the sad thing for me out of this game was there was more talk about the reffing than there was about the best team in the comp, for better or for worse.
winning the comp.
For most of us, for worse.
Well, worse.
Winning the comp. Were you a bit disappointed with that? Were you a bit disappointed with the reactions, or did you actually sit there and go to yourself, ooh?
No, I expected it. It's the Roosters. No one likes the Roosters, and that's fine.
Yep.
I think I mentioned it in the previous podcast. That's okay.
Yep.
The media like it because it drives sales, and they buy papers and get behind the paywall and see what the Roosters are doing wrong now. It's the media's onto it, and you get the great unwashed following it. So
yep.
That's what they want. That's what sells papers.
Yeah. So for anyone that is not a Roosters fan, they're obviously going for Canberra. And they all believed that Canberra didn't win because of the refereeing. As a Roosters fan, we never really got to hear the opinions of Roosters fans, except for maybe the coach. But what did you think of that? Like, did they get assistance in that regards, or did you guys win fair and square?
Well, where do we start?
Because obviously we talk about two penalties or two outcomes in particular where the Roosters scored. Do you think that really had bearing on the game?
So go with the first one. The ball hits the trainer.
Double falcon.
Have you ever seen that before? Like, people are saying that he meant to get in the way. He had no reaction time. Like, as if you're running off the ground.
Yep.
You don't expect the ball to. The ball's going the other way.
Yep.
You don't expect it to come back and hit you in the head.
Yeah.
And he smiled because when's that ever happened before?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, smug trainer, did it deliberately, and
Well, only hit him in the head because it hit someone else in the head.
Yeah. And look, it disadvantaged Canberra, that one. That's fine.
I think
I agree
that
with
wasn't a reffing issue. I think that's a rule issue, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's, as I say, it's never happened. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's ever happened before in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That rule was brought in for referees when it hits the referee.
Yep.
So,
Time to put a number on the trainers, I reckon. Just let them stay out there the whole time.
14.
Let them make a couple of tackles as well.
Get involved.
but yeah, that's where I stand on that one.
Yeah, look, I think my opinion. Geez, here we go. Sorry. My opinion is that at the end of the day, yes, they got a couple of calls there. They got a couple of calls there, but it was still Canberra's responsibility.
Actually, I almost forgot something. Yes.
Oh no. Hello.
I've put the colours on and now I'm back into it. It actually shouldn't have got that far because Luke Keary got absolutely kneecapped by C.S. Oliola.
Yep.
So it should have been a penalty to the Roosters anyway.
Okay.
So that's what should have happened.
He's warming up.
No, he's just getting his one.
Oh, one eye.
Yeah.
No, but you have a look at the
right.
footage. Keary's in the
No,
air,
I do,
and
yeah, I
Soliola
do remember that,
actually
yeah.
takes him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's one for the Roosters. We're
Well,
back.
here's my opinion.
So that's
and
one try
I think we
that's
spoke
okay.
about this on our radio show the other day. Is that like at the end of the day, yeah, they got the benefit of a couple of calls, but Canberra still had a responsibility to defend. And stop those tries. It wasn't totally due to the penalties or whatever. But
go to the second one?
It was the Roosters defence at the end of the day for me that won them, not just that game, but the premiership.
Probably the competition.
Because their defence,
Yeah.
we look at attack all the time, but we
Yeah.
don't really shed too much light on the defence. But the Roosters' defence was amazing. Canberra only scored 8 points.
I think
Yep.
it's I know it's 3 tries this final series, but I think it was like 3 or 4 tries the year before as well. So to keep an opposition to a try a match
Yep.
in a final series is pretty good.
It's a good effort.
Okay, we go to the just before the sin bin.
Yep.
One of the Canberra forwards gets tackled, loses it getting up. The first call was knock on, and then got quickly changed to penalty stripping. You look at the replay, no strip there. He's just dropped it cold.
Dropped it cold.
That next set, Cooper Cronk gets hits Papali late, gets put in the sin bin.
Early, not late.
Well,
Didn't hit him late.
Yeah.
So okay,
He might have
then
wiped out a few brain cells.
then the
after.
Roosters keep 13 men on the field for the whole game, if the call is right.
Yep.
But that gets glazed over because it's not a popular view. And that's great. That's fine. We got the result. But, you got to have, even though I'm one-eyed the other way, people have got to have a bit of balance here. And
You're asking for balance with
That's
the
a
Roosters?
balance. Yeah, what, you're asking for
Yes.
balance in rugby league.
Yes.
There's no balance in rugby league. Anyway,
but there you go. That's the little
I think,
things.
yeah.
Canberra had 10 minutes to attack against 12 men.
Yep.
And they had
Couldn't do
70 in the second half. They had 70% of the ball and still couldn't score.
So watch your game, Nick.
I did not watch that game.
Come on, mate. I
what?
thought
American
you
and
were Australianised now and getting into all these things.
I did. You can't see me, but I did watch the Alabama game.
Of course you did.
It's
How
Alabama.
are they going? They're winning.
Well, they're still undefeated. They beat Texas A&M on the weekend, 47-28.
Mate, I
Good
feel
boy.
like I was here months ago and they were undefeated
They're
then.
still
They're still
Still
undefeated.
undefeted.
Is that the
they're
Crimson
always
Tide?
It's the Crimson
Yes,
Tide
the Crimson
season.
Tide. Yeah, well done.
I'm
Well
all
done.
over now. It's
All right,
great.
well done on the Roosters. They've gone back to back.
All right, and
the best team,
let's put that one to bed and let's talk cricket.
Yeah, let's talk cricket. All right, so Shield
You have
cricket. Yeah, Shield cricket.
Oh,
Interesting round.
Yeah,
Interesting round.
First round of the
I
Shield
got to say,
season.
can I say it?
You can.
I love the Sheffield Shield,
Who doesn't?
especially at the moment because there's so many question marks flying around, in particular the Australian team for spots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And here we have the competition. We're using it for the right purposes. Let's get these boys playing lengthy cricket.
Yep.
And let's work out who deserves
Let's see who
these spots.
is the
Because
best.
after that Ashes series, I'm confused. Like, where are they going with the Australian team at the moment? And there's a lot of talking points out of that last round.
Yeah.
Some
So
of them even good.
Some of them, yeah, some of them good. So New South Wales defeated Queensland outright.
Good result.
Good result.
Yep.
Obviously, talking point out of that, David Warner come back with 100 in the first dig.
the other talking point, the big H Conway dominating
Conway,
with 10 for the match. The
10
mighty
for.
Dolphin. Well done. Well done, H.
And then David Warner returning to normal service and a duck in the second.
Well, that was the first baller, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes
you
that
know,
happens.
you just,
Yeah. Steve Smith getting a duck in the first innings.
Yeah. I think he's entitled to.
Yeah, he's entitled to one bad game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
T. Copeland,
T. Copeland, 350 first class wickets.
unbelievable career. I've been
For-
one-eyed there myself there,
For
but
a wicketkeeper.
like, honestly,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Ridiculous, yeah.
I'll be the other eye. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome achievement.
What
Yeah,
about Mitchell Stark?
Mitchell Stark.
I was watching that
Oh,
one
that's
with a bit of
just-
intrigue.
That's just short of bowling. That's short of game time. We just needed to I think maybe in his next games he'll probably be better. He's just short of bowling.
Is he short of bowling?
Well, mate, he's only been bowling in the
Hasn't
nets.
bowled much in a game lately.
He played one Test match.
Yeah.
And that was it. Hasn't really played a great deal recently. So yeah, you can bowl all you like in the nets.
Yeah.
All right. Look, he did play a few practice games in the Ashes series, but I think he was just short of bowling, short of rhythm probably.
Yep.
So he'll get better.
Yep. Harry Conway, interesting.
Harry Conway, yeah, 10 for.
I've got to say, I had my doubts maybe about him. But geez, I tell you what, he really pushed his name forward, didn't he?
Yeah. We've got a lot of good.
10 for.
There's lots of fast bowlers around, isn't there?
Yep. That is not one of our problems at the moment.
No, fast bowling is not one of our problems. And if you're in Victoria, if you're in Melbourne and you're at the Junction Oval, or the City Centre, or whatever they call it, you probably would have thought we weren't short on batsmen. What about this game? Victoria versus South Australia. South Australia actually managed to get first innings points out of this.
Yeah.
Chasing down 600. So
that's got to be some sort of
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the first three batsmen for Victoria scored centuries.
Yep.
One of them being a double to Nick Maddison.
Yep.
And then South Australia. Tommy Cooper, 274 or something, not out.
Unbelievable. Now, the wicket could be the best wicket in the world. Is there still an onus that you've got to still somehow find a way to get more wickets? Or is it just, does it get to a point where it's just at that level just too easy? Because I would have thought, the wicket can be as good as it can be, but I wouldn't have expected those amount of runs,
600
and
versus
so
600.
few wickets. What was it? How many wickets for the whole game?
12.
12 wickets. 12 wickets in
6 each.
4 days of
4
cricket.
days of cricket.
6 each. 6 again.
6 again.
Good stuff.
Stephen. No. Last tackle.
So averaging 3 wickets a day.
Yeah. Tough work.
Did anyone drop any catches?
I don't know. So the talking point
shot.
The talking point out of this.
Won't never play again.
Well, actually, 2 talking points out of this.
Peter Hanscom.
We'll get to Pete in a minute. But what about Paul Jake Weatherall? He's watched the Victorian batsman just rack up a score, and he gets that first rock. So he's got a golden. Disappointing. Then Pete Hanscom blowing up that South Australia weren't trying to get a result.
Well, they got a result.
They got
the points.
They got first innings points.
I think that one,
Pete.
Yeah,
mate.
Come on, mate.
Don't get 600, champ.
Yeah.
Is probably a good point.
Yeah.
If you want to get a game, don't get 600.
Yeah.
Probably could have
or get
declared
it
early. Yeah. Well, or get it quicker, or just declare earlier.
This is a strange one because I like Pete Hanscom, and I think he's a nice style of bloke. He plays for St Kilda. We like St Kilda, but I think you've just sort of opened up a can of worms on yourself.
He's just missed the mark there. You don't want to. I mean, you don't want to be trying to contrive a result with the opposition captain.
Well, don't
you get in trouble for that?
That's the big thing out of this one is that you can't be saying those things because that's the one thing you need to really tiptoe around, whether it happens or not. You can't be talking about contriving. No,
I mean, South Australia will be looking to not let Victoria get any points. Yeah. While them trying to get some points, which they ended up doing.
And keep in mind the rivalry there between those two states.
That's right.
So I think safe to say South Australia had the last laugh there.
Yeah.
And no one this side of the border is disappointed about that.
No. So in the other Shield game, Tasmania has drawn with Western Australia over in Perth. Talking point out of this is Tim Payne. He's got his second first-class century. 13 years apart, 121.
Amazing.
Nice work, Tim.
Obviously, a few broken digits in between, but I would have thought, there were probably more runs under the belt for old Timo because I've been waiting for it to happen at Test level.
There was a 90 odd at Test level.
Yep.
Amazingly,
what was his first class century?
Double 100.
A double century.
Double century.
So no wonder he had big tickets on him.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of broken digits,
yes, and the other talking
Mitchell
point about
Marsh.
Mitch Marsh apparently got a bit angry when he got out and punched the wall, and he's possibly broken his hand. Well done, Mitchell.
Did he get
well
fined?
Done, mate. He should have.
They're talking about him in the media as maybe losing his spot. Did he actually have a spot? I know he played him.
He's an incumbent.
Technically, he's an incumbent, but geez, for mine. I don't know whether I would have been starting with him in the...
Not playing again.
Just going on that, been in a lot of dressing rooms, all three of us. Or you may have, Nick.
Not really.
No? Okay. Didn't want to leave you out there.
Thanks, man. Thanks for that.
Any shenanigans that you've seen of broken bones or helmets or any that come to mind that...
I remember a story at a particular grade club that I'm quite close to of I think a helmet or a bat being thrown and it rebounded and hit the guy that was padding up and opened him up. That's a pretty bad one. Is when you can break your own gear and you can do damage to the room, which you shouldn't do. Just keep that in mind, please.
Was that a ground near the airport?
I don't. I think it happened. It might have happened at an away ground. I can't remember the details because it didn't happen. It didn't happen
to you
in a game that I was playing.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, when you start hurting or maiming your teammates, you're probably taking a little bit too far.
Yeah.
I love the dressing room. I remember winning a semi-final one time, and we stayed in the dressing room so long afterwards that we ended up ordering pizza, and just the banter and
Just the banter, yeah.
In fact, after having 8 seasons of cricket off, and I came back and played 5 games a couple of years ago, the thing I liked most was being in the dressing room. Except at that stage, everyone was quarter my age.
Yeah,
Except for the great Warwick Hayes.
Yeah.
He was still double my age.
Yeah.
Sorry, Warwick.
I have had a teammate punch a wall and break his hand, so he's done a Mitch Marsh before. Yeah,
I got to say, what about you, Steve? Steve, anything in particular comes to mind? You played a lot of first grade cricket with a lot of New South Wales and Australian players. Any dirt to spill there?
No, I won't.
You don't have to mention names.
I won't be a give up, but plenty of noise, and it's always interesting because at Hurstville Oval, we're right next to the sheds, so you can fairly hear a lot of the goings on.
Yep.
And you sort of wait, you bide your time before you have to go into the rooms because you've got to let the batsmen settle down. Otherwise, if you make eye contact when you walk in, boy oh boy.
Yeah. And there are particular players. And it's like, oh no,
my goodness,
he's not going to be happy with that. Everyone clear off.
I do remember one time we got bowled pretty cheaply and lost the game, and my other batsman was sort of walking off. He got out, not me. He stormed off a little bit quicker than I did. Yep. I was a bit disappointed, but he was furious and started his spray to the team before he'd even got in the sheds. So he was dead set walking past people, muttering under his breath, and then you hear the helmet come off, the bat hit the wall, the gloves on the ground,
Bouncing
and
sounds.
Then proceeded to just absolutely give the side a gobful.
Yeah.
And they were still outside.
Okay.
They'd heard what was going on, so we better not go in there.
So he was yelling through the walls.
Yeah, he was just yelling for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
I'd got to my seat, put my head down in my hands, and, well, I was disappointed, but then it was starting to get funny, so I didn't want to show myself absolutely laughing at this guy.
Is that when you just put your head in your hands?
Yeah.
And then you're disappointed, but you're laughing.
But then it's really hard to keep the shoulders from moving up and down when you're trying not to laugh.
Yeah. I was crying. I was so upset I was crying.
Get the scoop here. Who was it?
No. He's actually still involved with the grade club.
Wasn't the captain?
That's not far from here.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Righty-o.
I got to say, I never blew up because I was never surprised when I got out. I always expected it. So I was like, okay, well, that was bound to happen at some stage, so I'm off now.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best umpiring decision, but I'll cop it because really I'm not that good. So catch you later, guys.
Well, the only thing I'd throw was gloves. Because,
I'm off to the canteen.
Because they wouldn't break.
Yeah,
I couldn't afford to get a new helmet or a new bat.
Don't throw helmets and don't throw bats. They don't get replaced for that. They don't get replaced for that.
How many times do you get a guy coming into Kingsgrove Sports Centre with a broken bat? Oh, how'd you do this, mate? I just threw it and bashed the seat.
You can see the gate mark.
Yeah. I've got a nasty Yorker, mate. That's not a Yorker.
No, you
need to do something about your anger.
You need anger management lessons. Yeah. Classes. Yeah. All right.
Bit off topic there.
Went off topic.
Well, worth covering.
That's okay.
One of the great topics.
On to some good news.
Okay.
Good news story.
Yes.
We need to talk about the Australian women's cricket team, who have... Wait. No, you've got something.
New South Wales have to move their Shield game to Drummoyne Oval, or possibly Drummoyne Oval, this upcoming weekend.
Why, Stephen?
Due to the groundsman not being able to prepare a wicket at the cricket ground.
Why not, Stephen?
I don't know. I mean, Adams from Hurstville Oval, he's one of the great curators, but apparently some stud marks have left us unable to play a game of cricket.
You mean stud marks? It's in football stud marks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand this really, because you've got
I blame the
so
Roosters.
Yeah, I blame them too.
You might as well. Everyone else does about everything else.
Yeah.
Even Greta's having a crack at the Roosters, I think. Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
Oh, boy.
Hey, let's get topical. Come on, guys. Yes.
You are up and about.
That's
I am up and
disappointing,
about.
isn't it?
So some stud marks on the couldn't get them out.
Apparently the Roosters trained on there a couple of weeks ago.
This is the Roosters.
But I don't understand. You could still use half a ground. I don't understand why they're running on the deck, but
No.
Surely you rope it off and say don't run there.
Mm.
But apparently
They ignore the signs.
pitch is not good enough.
What
So
about all those grounds outside the SCG?
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
They've got a training ground out there, haven't they?
Could use the Swans ground.
Yeah. Well, they've got a training ground.
They have.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it is, but
You train there, so it must be all right. Won a comp. Won 2 comps.
well, that's right. Even without
What
home,
was the Roosters' home ground before the stadium?
Sydney Sports Ground. So it was under the football stadium. So they built
It's an interesting question, that one.
and that ran east west.
Okay.
So
Right.
you'd what was it?
Look into the sun.
You'd
you
run west in the first half
Yep.
because the sun would be down at an awkward level.
Mm.
There you go.
Good point. Right, so,
So yeah, no game at the cricket ground
Well,
this
I mean,
weekend,
I mean,
and could
What would-
possibly be for a month. So
why would you play cricket at the cricket ground?
I think we had this discussion last year.
Probably. We probably did.
But yeah, so that could be out for a month.
Interesting.
Back to the ladies.
Back to the ladies. So the
How
Aussie,
good are the ladies?
Aussie women's cricket team
How
currently
good
have
are the
won
ladies?
18 games straight,
Breaking their own record.
breaking their own record. Yeah, on fire. So they've beaten Sri Lanka 3-0 in a T20 series and 3-0 in a one-day series.
Yep.
Just going from strength to strength.
Sri Lanka tried.
They did.
Not
They did. They just unfortunately don't quite have the.
It's got to the
capability.
stage where we've got to start handicapping the Australian women.
Right-handed stepped about left-handers. Left-handed stepped about right-handed. that sort of thing.
Electric wiki.
Electric wiki.
Yep.
Let's
One hand,
not
one
get
bounce.
One hand, one
carried-
bounce.
Let's not get carried
No,
away.
let's not really.
Come on.
Come on, mate.
But it's got to that
Come on.
stage because 18
No.
wins in a row. They're just scoring runs for fun. But there is one Sri Lankan
There's one Sri Lankan
cricketer
that-
worth talking about.
that-
What a great story involving Kingsgrove Sports Centre, Stewie.
Yeah, so the 2020 skipper and opening batsman for Sri Lanka, Adapadu.
Batter.
Batter.
No
Thank you,
relation to
Steve.
the great St George player Marvin.
Oh, Marvin.
Marvin. Oh,
What a career
we'll
he
have
had
to
at St George.
We'll have to go through his career at St George one day. Yeah,
We can do it now. It's take 5 minutes.
One game.
One game.
half a game.
One
Half
day.
a game.
One day, wasn't
I
it?
think
It was one
I
day.
personally think he got scared off. It rained that game, didn't it?
Yeah.
No,
I
he
think
turned up for the second part of the game,
Yeah.
had a curry and took off. We never saw him
He,
again.
he saw the plyers doing the covers and he thought, "What's going on here?"
I don't think
What's
that's
this all
what are you
about?
talking about? Yeah. So anyway,
Career done.
So yeah, Chamari Adapadu, fantastic 100 in the first T20 game, then another 100 in the last one-day game. So yeah, she is the class of that team. I was lucky enough to see her play in the World Cup in England a couple of years ago and play one of the best one-day innings you'll see ever.
It was.
in that innings against Australia.
Yep. She likes big.
She
games.
doesn't mind playing against Australia and playing against the best. Yeah, so she's a talented cricketer. So
Shoulder injury at the moment.
yeah, carrying the team. Is that what
good
you're
for
talking
you.
about? Yeah,
That's what I was.
yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Good setup.
You forgot to.
and of course, we were lucky enough. We do.
Harry-
Harry helped her out.
Harry caught up
she
with her a few days before.
Needed some gear. He helped out a lot of the Sri Lankan cricketers because unfortunately they don't get supported overly well by the board. over there. So Harry helped a lot of the players out with gear, but so obviously Chamari scored those 2 wonderful centuries using the fantastic Kingsport product, which we're very happy with.
We're gonna have to sell more bats.
We're going to. I just got some more in too.
Excellent.
Oh, and they're crackers.
Are they?
Oh, belters.
What did you get in?
Unbelievable.
What are they?
More Kingsport bats.
Oh, like all ranges?
Immortals, Vintage, and Big Mondies, and also very
A new
exciting.
one.
Very exciting.
A new one.
Very
Is this an
excitingly-
exclusive? It's an
Yes,
exclusive.
it is. The Immortal GT 2020,
Right, that's right.
and they are phenomenal. Those things, they are absolute,
Limited
they are
edition as of the moment.
They're absolute
Harry,
weapons.
What's happened? Harry not running with his favoured Noble Willow?
Mate, no, he came up. That was Harry's name. He came up with it.
I'm surprised because he used to have a Mazda RX-7. I'm surprised he hasn't had a
done
Noble
that.
Willow RX-7 or something like
Mate,
that.
we'll keep that in mind. No, GT 2020.
That was a nice car
absolute
until I crashed it.
absolute rippers. We'll go through that story later.
Yeah, no, we won't.
Yeah. So now on the back of, he doesn't know. Sorry, H.
He does know.
On the back of Australia's fantastic form, the WBBL is starting. Starts on Friday with the Thunder taking on the Sixers, or the Sixers taking on the Thunder.
Yep. Different format this year.
Well, same format, but obviously a standalone
20 overs
competition.
a side. Well,
that's
Still
what I
20
meant.
overs.
That's what I meant.
Standalone competition. So
They're
the
not
girls,
playing 100 balls.
Free
No.
hits.
No, the girls are out. Yeah, the girls are out on their own.
Yeah.
Not sort of piggybacking off the men. So which will be interesting.
I think the men were
For them.
piggybacking off the girls, to be truthful.
Well, they probably were at some stages because some of those games weren't as good.
What?
You know we are on camera, Stephen.
Yeah, I just got a bit of sleep.
Something you
tonight.
like? Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. The 2 Sydney teams have been preparing. They've had a couple of trial games. You were at one of those trial games last Friday, Stephen.
I was, and I hope the Sixers improve.
I think they will.
Were they at full strength?
No.
No,
There
that
you go.
doesn't
not
matter.
even, not even
Doesn't
close.
matter.
They weren't not even close. No,
Getting rolled for 90 is unacceptable.
always unacceptable. Yeah,
And
so
that's as a Sixers supporter.
No, they just need to transfer those games to the Junction.
yeah. Then you never get out.
Yeah.
Then you never get out. Yeah, so no, the Sixers were down because all their international, so all the Aussie girls were not there, and their internationals were not out as well. So a lot of their younger players were involved.
No, it was a great day.
They've got 5 teenagers.
Great day at Waverley. Alex Blackwell piled on the runs. I think she got 80 odd.
With her Kingsport?
With a
Yeah,
Kingsport.
with her Kingsport.
There's
Yeah,
a theme growing here.
There is.
yeah. She
Yeah.
didn't want to come off the ground. Actually, she just wanted to keep batting.
Well, why wouldn't you want to stay batting at Waverley?
Well, that's right. That's right. It's a great ground, and get down there if you get a chance. Lovely eastern suburbs of Sydney.
You're a Sixers man, Stewie, because
Yep.
obviously your sister, being the best cricketer in your family,
True.
Bang.
Well, she's the only one who
is
gets paid to do it.
exactly is backing up once again. She's
Correct.
probably
Yep.
the most capped WBBL player.
She'd be sort of there's a few that sort of on about the same.
Yep.
With Elise Perry and Alyssa Healy, those sort of people. Yep.
Can you see anyone knocking over the Sixers if they can stay at full strength? Or, there's that rivalry between the Thunder and the
Yep.
Sixers. There's been a few player movements.
Been some player movements. The Hobart Hurricanes have picked up a lot of players, so they'll be stronger. They played well last year, but they'll be stronger again.
Yep.
Look, Brisbane Heat. They are the defending champions.
Mm-hmm.
They've got pretty much a similar side. They brought in a couple of Kiwis, I think, to boost their squad. But the Sixers are pretty much basically the same.
Yeah.
You've got Elise Perry, Alyssa Healy, Ash Gardner, Erin Burns, who's obviously just recently made her Australian debut.
Yep.
South
Africans.
You've got the 2 South Africans, Marizanne Kapp and Dane van Niekerk.
Yeah.
I think the Sixers will be looking to make the final and win the comp, and I think they'll be disappointed if they don't do that. Yeah, so be interesting, but I think it's going to be it'll be a tough competition. There's definitely some good sides out there. The Brisbane Heat will be good.
Yep.
The Strikers have got a good side. Adelaide Strikers have got a good side. They've picked up Stefani Taylor from the Thunder. She's gone to Adelaide, and they've still got their two Kiwis. Sophie Devine is there, who's one of the best players in the world.
And the Sixers going to be spending a little bit of time at their spiritual home,
Of Hurstville Oval.
I've mentioned that because it's a great opportunity to go and watch some quality cricket, but Hurstville Oval is only 5 minutes away from Kingsgrove Sports Centre.
That's right.
So make it
a double.
Make it a cricketing day.
Make it a double.
Come visit us at Kingsgrove Sports Centre and watch some fantastic T20 cricket.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So, Big Bash starts on, or the WBBL starts on Friday at North Sydney. There's a couple of games at North Sydney. The Sixers play on Friday and Saturday. So, big couple of games coming up there, which is fantastic.
Who'll be the first girl to score a century in the competition?
Well, I mean, you're not probably going to.
Usually, it's a Kingsport player.
Not going to. Well, possibly. Probably not going to write off Alyssa Healy. The form she's been in. So, she's been hitting pretty well. So, I might back Midge in. She might do it. Opposite batting too. So, there's a good chance. Or then maybe Ash Gardner might.
Yep.
Mitch will get out early. Ash Gardner likes North Sydney.
She likes North Sydney.
She's got to try and reclaim her crown of the fastest one-day 100 as well.
Corinne Hall.
Who pinched that? Was that Grace Harris?
Grace Harris.
With her Kingsport.
Another Kingsport player. Yeah.
Do you know the men's fastest century is held by a Kingsport player?
Correct. Craig Simmons. Yeah.
So
the electrician.
What about that for a statistic? The two fastest centuries in BBL and WBBL have been scored with Kingsport cricket bats.
I think the numbers speak for themselves, guys.
Yep. There you go. Right now, speaking of, continuing on with...
and right at the moment, Grey Nichols and all the other brands is not very happy with
playing
us.
Catching up. Catching up.
We love all those brands.
We do, though. So, continuing with women in cricket.
Yep. Some big news.
Cricket Australia and the ACA have come up with a great policy.
Yep.
They've announced their parental leave policy, basically, which means that players can get 12 months off, 12 months paid maternity leave, which is a fantastic thing. But along with that, also you also get your contract is basically guaranteed, so you get to come back. Previously, obviously, it was sort of you had to make the decision to either start a family, and then if you wanted to come back, you sort of have to do it the hard way and sort of start all over again. But but now with this policy, which has been funded by the players, so they're invested in it, which is a great thing. You now get 12 months off to go and start a family and look after your child, and then your contract's guaranteed when you come back.
Is that a normal amount of time in the workplace?
I think it's a bit extra. Normally, it's about. I think it's normally 6 months.
You would need it for
people.
sport. You would need it for sport.
Yeah.
But a great result.
Why?
Because you're recovering from childbirth, mate.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got to get yourself.
Well, I mean, if you've got a job that's physical, like a sporting it,
that's
you need extra time to get your body back up to.
So
I think it's different. I think it could be different in each workplace. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
Oh, I just think like
I don't want to offend office workers or the like, but
if you're a labourer or you're a sparky or someone like that, and you've just had a kid,
true.
It's
true.
Just trying to get that.
Get on the government. Talk to the Premier.
But big hats off to Cricket Australia leading the way in not just Australian sport, but I think in the world. But I think it's a wise decision when you've got the likes of Alyssa Healy and Elise Perry. We need them to hurry up and make some of those super sporting babies.
Yeah. Yeah, just for all Australian sport, not just talking cricket, just all of Australian sport.
We're relying on you.
Well, I hope if any of them are listening, they're not offended while I was talking about their family choices.
No.
Well, they're pretty special sporting families. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, certainly.
Because they're married.
Very talented.
They're married to other sportsmen. So
Yeah.
But no, great policy.
Imagine the cricketer that a little Stark Healy would be.
Could be a golfer. With them. They're good golfers. They play for the Steely Cup. Could be good golfers anyway. But yeah, great policy. It just means it just obviously gives all players
probably find the cure for cancer.
Good to just gives all players security. They don't have to. My goodness. No pressure on that poor child.
Wow.
No pressure on that poor child.
This is just like one of our lunchtime walks. So why are you acting surprised?
Is this still on? We've got these things in front of us.
Right, where are we up to?
We're recording. So look, the parental policy. So it's just good for all players that now, if they want to start a family, they don't have to make the choice of ending their career early and having a child, and they're not playing again. It
just takes a bit of the pressure off for them, doesn't it? I think they don't have to worry about their careers. We should be welcoming these players back into the game,
absolutely,
and not putting them in a situation where they have to think
Yep.
about that option.
Yeah. Do I keep playing cricket for my career, or do I
Start a family.
start a family?
So well done.
Well done
It's
to
just,
the ACA and Cricket
we
Australia.
need other sports to catch up.
This must have happened while I was celebrating. So is this for men as well? Men can have 12 months off?
I think so. I have looked. To be honest, I haven't completely read through the entire policy, Stephen. But
No, I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
I'm listening like a listener.
Yep, I'm probably. I would believe that most men probably wouldn't take
the full 12.
No.
They might they'd take some
leave,
time off.
during the peak of their careers.
I'll have to read the policy and get back to you, Stephen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well-
I'll go through the whole thing.
No,
Yeah.
so I'm just
No,
curious.
it's a good question.
I'm curious
Well,
because,
at the end of the day, they're not the ones giving birth.
No, but if I'm having a tin lid and I'm a little bit out of form, then I might say, I need 3.
I need 3 weeks off.
I need 3 months off. Of course, little Jimmy's, not sleeping.
No, well, that's all right.
But
Not
it's
sure.
got nothing to do with little Jimmy. I just can't eat a pea off a chop.
I wonder whether the selectors would see through that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Just
Possibly.
quickly, it
Yes.
says it looks like the 12 months is just for obviously the player who is pregnant.
Yeah.
But the partner is eligible for 3 weeks paid leave.
There you go. Which
Right.
I think that's,
Well,
I think
beautiful.
that's what,
Here.
I think that's what most
So,
in
all right.
most
So
workplaces.
here's a scenario. Your wife has just had a baby a week before the Melbourne Boxing Day Test match.
Yeah.
You're going to take leave?
I wouldn't.
You're entitled to it.
I wouldn't, but
You're entitled to
You're
it,
entitled
but
to
we're
it.
talking about a Test match.
can you take it later?
Yeah.
I'll have 3 weeks after the Sydney
Can you
Test.
take
Yeah.
a
Well, I
suspended?
mean, does it?
Can you
I don't
take a
know that it
suspended-
stipulates when you have to take it. Just
No.
says you're eligible for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Fair
Over a 12-month period. I mean, it seems like that's pretty flexible.
Yep.
Next.
All right.
Rightio. Okay. Now there's a little bit of international cricket going on. India is taking on South Africa in India,
South Africa taking on to South Africa as well.
and now South Africa are taking on South Africa. So obviously we know that India is a very hard place to play cricket.
Yep.
And South Africa are getting absolutely towed up at the moment.
Yep.
In India, they're 2-0 down in the Test series.
Yep.
And it got a bit heated. Not only the weather conditions, but between two players.
Yeah. On the same team.
Yeah, on the same team. Rabada decided to have a go at Quinton de Kock because he missed a ball that he threw back to him, and the Indians ran an overthrow.
Yeah.
And it got a little testy.
Yep. When you had Faf having to sort of
Did it?
hold back.
Faf had to alpha it and had to get in between. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You nodded off. You weren't watching that.
No,
were you?
I was.
That wiping that sleep out of your eye again?
I heard it. He threw the ball and it got a little testy. I just got.
Sorry.
No.
No.
It
Did not
threw
there.
me. I thought they got angry with each other. I
Yeah,
didn't know where it hit him. That's all right. I'm back. What else we got?
You've got to get up earlier more often.
I heard it was at De Kock.
It was, yeah.
Oh.
And
Always one step too far. Fair dinkum.
That's why I keep on getting asked
That's
back.
the guy's name, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the
Yes,
guy's name.
the guy-
It's just
yeah.
the guy's name.
Yeah.
so yeah, no, it went on, and it
Quinton.
it went on at the end. It kept going at the end of the over.
Yeah.
And we're having a
He
real
was shaping
go
up.
at it.
Rabada was shaping up, but
Yeah.
it's got to be frustration. I'm sure they sorted it out in the dressing room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where
Oh, get a camera in there.
They had a lazy ale. They would have needed it after. They would have needed a lot of hydrating. The South Africans.
After Coley destroyed it with 254.
Yep. I thought they were playing-
Coley was so confident he decided to have a bowl after tea. He bowled the first over after tea.
did
Just
he?
rolled one down.
Yep.
He's a better batsman.
Yep.
His bowling's not going to
Didn't
threaten
stop
anybody.
him from taking a hat trick though.
When?
Bit of artistic license.
Yeah. What are you talking about? No, he didn't take it.
They do
No.
call him King Coley.
King Coley, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not North Korea. You can't just make it up.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, so
What's happened to
we've got
Hat-trick.
hat trick. Mate, pay attention.
Hattie.
So yeah, he rolled one over. It wasn't a great over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I'm
He had plenty
drifting
of-
over.
he had plenty of
How
other
many
bowlers.
overs have you bowled in Test cricket, mate?
0. That's okay. That's all right. I'll
Same here.
same. Yeah. All three of us 0.
Even Greeny was a
Great,
fair
yeah.
bowler.
Who
but
was
yeah.
who was much better than the rest of us. Yeah. And in some interesting news,
He's got
Yes.
one more than he should have.
yeah, one more than he should have bowled. In some interesting news,
We both got Steve Waugh out in the nets though.
Oh yeah. Wasn't that popular? About as popular as the Roosters winning.
Yeah. In some other news that I just heard overnight,
Ooh.
it looks like Sourav Ganguly could become the BCCI president. So he could be running Indian cricket.
probably a good thing.
He seems to have the right level of arrogance to do a job like that.
Yeah. Just ask people.
No.
That won't get any feedback.
I personally like when you've got ex-cricketers in these sort of roles because they have a better feel for where the game should be going.
That's right. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Here.
No, you made a good point. I don't disagree.
Well done.
Yeah,
That's why we're shocked.
You actually said something.
I'm a bit shocked.
You said something sensible.
Mustn't have been me.
Must have been you.
Must have been one of my other personalities.
You must have read that off somewhere. So now, as always, we always like some viewer feedback. And as I'm hopeless at doing these social media things, I think maybe it might be best to let Nick,
you guys
let us know where
since they
where
can't
you can
see me,
watch it and see us. And
since nobody
view
can
us.
see me right now, you can just stare blankly, longingly into the camera while I read off the social media.
I'll do sign language.
If you want to reach us, if you want to talk to any of these guys or give us some comments or your feedback, whatever, follow us, find us, reach out to us. We're at Facebook at Kingsgrove Sports Centre, Instagram at Kingsgrove Sports, Twitter at Kingsgrove Sport. Use the hashtag KSC Podcast. Get in touch with us. You get our attention. We are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Stitcher and all the other places you might want to find a podcast. And if we're not, the RSS feed link is in our YouTube description of this episode and all episodes, so you can add us to whatever podcast platform you're using.
Excellent. Now, speaking of viewer questions, there's an interesting question come through from Caleb S. Is the Australian Cricket Academy, or the Centre of Excellence, I think as it might be known now,
Has it moved to
Brisbane?
Penshurst?
No, it hasn't. Is it doing enough to produce the next generation of Australian cricketers? What do you think? So looking at Shield cricket, do you think how do you think? So maybe not necessarily because I'm not sure exactly about what's going on up at the Centre of Excellence these days, but
I have no idea.
No.
In the old days, you used to find out about
Who
blokes
was going,
who got selected, but that doesn't really...
I'm not sure if they're taking... I don't think...
Is there an intake anymore?
I don't think there is an intake anymore. I think players just sort of go up there from time to time. It's not like
a bit of time.
It's not like in Adelaide, back in the day where Rod Marsh was the head coach and they,
They'll have camps there. Maybe we need... That's a good question. Maybe we need to know about what they actually...
So, for instance, if you get picked in the Australian under-19 team, should that be the intake for the Centre of Excellence? Should you be up there for I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months?
To me, the cricketing programs probably don't allow for that.
No,
do they?
Well, possibly not. I suppose.
But
again, you're under-19 cricketers. Not many. They're generally only playing grade cricket or state under-19 competitions or away with the Australian under-19 team.
I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, I did my level 3 coaching certificate up there, and there were players up there. Curtis Patterson was up there, Burns was up there, Eddie Cowan was up there, and they were working and stuff like that. We're working with various players. Kim Hughes was one of the people involved. There's stuff like that going on, but it's not like I don't think any player has got the time in their schedules, the way they're set out, to go and spend the 4 or 5 months up there. And remember, it used to be in South Australia, and most of those cricketers end up playing for South Australia. I just would assume that it's a place now for Queensland cricketers to go and train. But also, just prior to tours and stuff like that, they go and use the facility and stuff like that. But it's a good question because I really don't know enough about it, and perhaps we should.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind the concept of guys, being in Adelaide, staying there for 6 months and learning from those coaches. I think it's more of a short-term thing these days. They're up there for a few days or a week or up in pre-season.
Langer might say, all right, we've got you've got a week or two off. I need you to head up there and just go and spend some quality time getting stuck in.
Yep, true.
We'll have to do our research on that one.
Very good question. Possibly one of the best we've ever had.
Yeah.
It's certainly up there in the top 2 million.
That's me being serious.
We haven't that many questions. That was.
Have we got another question?
Thanks for that question, Caleb. Again, if you guys ask really good questions, sometimes we get little comments and stuff, but the more engaging questions, we're more likely to discuss on the podcast.
Well, there's an interesting question here. This is we discussed it a bit about the Shield game down in Victoria, but we can maybe discuss this a little bit more because there's. So this is from Andrew M. Thoughts on Junction Oval?
Fantastic ground. The facilities are awesome.
I think that's what I'd like to talk about. I think I mean, so this pitch probably wasn't
pitch needs a bit of water.
Was a bit flat, but in terms of the obviously now a lot of the state teams are moving away from SCG, MCG type thing and going to smaller suburban grounds. And Cricket Victoria put in a great centre down there where all the Victorian teams train. So that's it's a fantastic facility. I know that I think Cricket New South Wales is looking to build something similar, putting a new head office with a couple of grounds out near Homebush.
Yep.
So I think that's great. You've got the centre of excellence. So up there, up in Albion with Allan Water Field for Queensland cricket.
You got the Norma O'Neill cricket training facility. Cash for comment
at Penshurst.
Pay myself there.
It's yours.
Look, I just think that they'll have to just look at the decks they're preparing there. The facility is obviously second to none, but I think we're talking about making sure we've got fair pitches.
Yeah.
Not one-sided pitches.
You wouldn't want that sort of continue. You wouldn't want games to be like that all the time.
I think you can be guaranteed that the deck will have a bit more grass on it next game.
Next one might be a bit more juicy.
Yeah.
Maybe only
there'll be a directive
150 in the first dig because it moves a bit. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's our thoughts.
But I mean, it's obviously good that state governments, local councils, cricket bodies are putting money into improving facilities and making cricket facilities, so which is good. There's another interesting question. Calypso C, he's put in his women's second 11.
Yeah,
Australian women's second 11. I'm not sure if he's thinking that he's looked at the Sri Lankan series and thought, there's not much competition going on here.
Do you know it's a he?
We might have to... Or her.
I think so.
Or her.
I don't think Calypso's his real name. He uses a Facebook name.
Pseudonym.
I actually think I know who it is.
I think Hamish does know this guy.
Oh. Is it a secret?
Yeah, so...
Go on, the old Australia A versus Australia A back in the early 90s.
I think that just... it's actually a fair comment.
Yeah.
It's a fair comment because it would also give some of those players who are finding it tough to make the Australian team, and it would be a tough team to crack, an opportunity to play at the next level. But it just creates a bit of an embarrassing situation for when, like, let's face facts, an Australian A side or a second 11 probably would have knocked over Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Yeah. We do remember back in the early 90s when Australia A were in the one-day competition.
Yes.
And Australia A played in the finals.
Yeah.
I think they knocked out England and Pakistan maybe.
Yeah.
That was a bit embarrassing.
Totally understand. Can you give me context of what he's talking about?
Well, I think
he's just named his lineup.
It's just named his second team, but I think it might be that he's.
Did he actually name the team?
Yeah,
he did.
I can
read it out?
Yeah, I can run through it. So he said this is in his batting order. So Talia Wilson, Georgia Redmayne, Sophie Molyneux, Katie Mack, Naomi Stalenberg, Erin Osborne, Grace Harris, Carly Leeson, Maylin Brown, Lauren Cheadle, Maisie Gibson, Lisa Griffith, 12th person.
1, 2, 3,
count
4, 5,
6, 7, 8.
I've only coached 6 of those girls.
Okay. Right.
A fair bit of them are Kingsport players.
Fatty Vorden.
Good for you, mate.
Head wobble.
I'm surprised I got in. So I mean, interesting. And you could. There's other people. There's other cricketers around the country that could make that team as well.
I've met none of them.
See how far removed this bloke is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's too far removed. Yeah.
Just a fossil.
And in my cricketing return, I got caught out by one of them.
There you go.
On the ground.
On the ground.
You could almost make. Look,
she played.
You can almost make 3 probably Australian 11s really if you. There's a few. Like, there's other cricketers.
Are you a bit disappointed?
There's a few.
Didn't include Sarah Ailing?
There's a few. Well,
has he been dropped as a selector because he didn't include your sister?
Yeah, because there's a couple I'd take out of that and put. There's other people that probably should be in front of those players.
Yep.
I would argue if you're doing a fair dinkum second 11 team.
Yep.
So yeah, it just goes to show that we do have very strong players. Our domestic.
You know what?
Cricket is very strong.
You know what? So we should.
Yeah.
Because we put a lot of time, effort, and money into women's cricket.
Actually, on money, I also read this morning the ICC are putting an extra $2.6 million into the prize pool for women's competition. So I think like the 2020 that's coming up, there'll be some extra prize money in that, which is
Good. Rightio.
Yeah.
Looks like Steve's
ready to go. Now,
Steve's-
speaking of women's cricketers,
Time.
we probably do need to let you go because you are having some. You are having the Sixers turn up at the
I thought you were talking to me then.
Norma O'Neill
Who's coming in?
Norma O'Neill cricket training facility.
Yes.
At Penshurst.
Yes.
That you've got to get there and make sure you open the doors for.
100%.
So, thank you for coming in, Hamish. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
I've got some new
What have you got?
lead out music.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
You're going to copyright strike my video.
No, turn it up loud. Turn that up.
Oh,
turn
no.
that up loud.
Oh,
turn
no.
It up loud.
I gotta hear what that is. What is that? Oh, so yeah,
It's a
okay. I'll
Rooster
turn the
song.
music back up.
Yeah, that's horrible. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah,
All
thanks, man.
Thank you, everybody. We'll catch you
Go
next
the
time.
Bulldogs in 2000.
Oh, you Roosters.